This is Karan Khandra. When asked about sexual assault, he had pretty shocking views.
Men do get raped by women.
But there's a problem.
Men
You're not understanding. Physically, it's not possible only.
The list of influencers absolutely destroying Kunal's narrative is pretty long.
Frankly, I don't believe that happens.
When men are sexually assaulted, it's usually done by other men.
So I can't molest you, it doesn't work that way because I'm a woman and you're the man, right?
It's an issue that we know women are mainly victims of, disproportionately so.
Men get sexually assaulted too.
Men cannot be raped the same. Lack the necessary equipment to be raped.
It wasn't rape because they both enjoyed it.
मुझे नहीं लगता है कि ये torture feel करते हैं लड़के लोग.
Why not?
In fact, studies show that this is how many people believe in aliens. And this is how many people believe a sexually assaulted man. But what if I told you that everything you've ever been told about sexual assault is a blatant lie?
This is all frustration talking.
Chances are you've been sold this lie. This is why the policies at your company show men as molesters and women as victims.
मर्दों का रेप नहीं होता क्या? आपका प्रोविजन नहीं है.
This is why feminists spread hate, because 0% of the rapes are committed by women and girls.
What can men do? Be better. Be better.
But what if it was all a scam? So in this video, I will show you the hidden truth about sexual assault that these influencers don't want you to know. Are women raping men?
I don't think so.
How many men?
But that is more women, no?
And why are these victims invisible to the public? Many powerful groups are hiding this information from you because they fear what you're about to learn will change everything.
Men getting exploited sexually is a reality.
Guys, if you like to watch more videos like this, remember to click subscribe. But how true are these claims that Karan is making? Are women raping men? While this may seem like a controversial question, what's even more controversial is the answer to this question. Let me explain. Every genius on TV cites the same paper on sexual assault, this government survey, because it doesn't discriminate against men. But does an equal survey mean equal findings?
Men can also be the victims of rape. MRAs and the red pill again try to portray this as both sides are victims in equal numbers issue, when it isn't, not even close. From the same source, 1 in 5 women will be raped in their lifetime, while 1 in 71 men will. For every male victim, there are 14 female victims.
And he's right. Yo, what? What's even more ironic is that
84% of male sexual assault survivors were sexually assaulted by men.
so given this information, your takeaway is probably same as these empowered women.
It's an issue that we know women are mainly victims of, disproportionately so, but it's an issue that men need to take responsibility for primarily. I think rape is a human issue. I think the prevention of rape should be a male issue.
Men are also raped by men, then men being raped is not a problem. Men raping is the problem, right? Right. Wrong. What if I told you that this is false advertising?
Misleading marketing tactics.
Where con artists will hide half of the information in order to mislead you into believing their lies.
Less than truthful when it comes to the product's benefits.
Kinda like this commercial.
I'm healthy food. Hey healthy, my bars they just last 4 months. Yours last 12.
See, what con artists like Knowing Better and Daniel Slosh will not tell you.
Oh, that's easy. Just get some of this tocopherol. Of course, don't call it tocopherol, call it vitamin E.
Is that unlike women, sexual assault against men has 2 different classifications.
And tell me, how do you get that same fruity flavor every time? कैसा noob है तू यार?
So what is the whole truth about male sexual assault? If your vagina, anus, or mouth is sexually assaulted, that is classified as rape.
Ethyl propionate. What?
But if you have a penis,
Don't call it ethyl propionate, right? Exactly. Call it
MTP, made to penetrate. So a man's penis being sexually assaulted is not even called rape. You know, I've come to realize that rape is one of those issues where society won't open its mind, so you have to open up a pussy. But this information was available in the same study 207 times, and yet they chose not to tell you about the MTP because we live in a society where there's such a thing as discrimination. So 1 in 71 men are raped only if you don't count MTP. But what if you do count MTP? Then what? Do you think that it'd be a...
Very few cases, I feel.
It might be a minority, but it can be be a reality. इतना नहीं होगा. I understand. इतना नहीं होगा जितनी औरतों का हो रहा है.
कम है.
But what if I told you that your bubble could burst louder than you think? We'll come back to that, but before that, I needed to find this information first. But what I didn't know was that this is the most guarded secret of the world besides the Coca-Cola's recipe. Because this information is not on Google, it's not on the news, and it makes the world's best AI look lost. But why is it so difficult to find how many men are made to penetrate by women? Is this information invisible by design? Let me explain. People often believe what they see and hear around them.
मैंने ये किस्से ऐसे कभी सुने नहीं है कि लड़कियां हावी पड़ रही है लड़कों पे.
Whether it's true or not. For example, you probably believe in recycling because you hear that it works, but does it?
Well, as soon as they realized that recycling plastic wasn't a viable option, they created a plan to trick people into believing that it is. And they did this by simply lying to people.
If the public thinks the recycling is working, then they're not going to be as concerned about the environment.
Sound familiar? Let me explain. If the public thinks that women aren't raping men, then they're not going to be as concerned about men's rape. No bans against plastic, no rape laws against women. So is someone controlling what you see and hear about sexual assault? How do they convince people to believe this lie in the first place? Simple. By replacing the real information with counterfeit information that looks identical, but it's not. Let me explain. Nestle hired actors to impersonate doctors to push its baby formula to moms.
These saleswomen, posing as genuine nurses, would walk the halls of maternity wards and sell them on Nestle's baby formula.
Similarly, someone is planting fake news about sexual assault on Google.
To set up hundreds of fake profiles to fool people.
But who would do that? When you search how many men are raped, all of the top results are from these organizations. These organizations look identical to the government agencies, but in reality, these are women's organizations. Just like plastic industry hides 85% of the plastic is not recyclable, while only showing you that 9% that is recycled. Feminists hide a large percentage of men that are made to penetrate by women, while only showing you a small percentage of men that are raped by other men. But nobody knows how to play this trick better than the man's biggest enemy, MeToo.
MeToo is igniting wider debates.
There is a MeToo segment by Samantha B. See if you can spot it.
But there is one issue that affects men I do want to discuss tonight: male sexual abuse. We talk about Me Too like it's only a women's movement, but many of the predators in the Me Too era preyed on men. #MenToo.
Did you see that? There is no lack of rapist women in Hollywood, but all of the men that Me Too selected were all harassed by other men. Me Too was masquerading as a men's ally, but their real agenda was to associate men's rape with other men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
By the way, men get raped in this country too, by fathers, uncles, brothers,
while keeping the criminal women out of the spotlight. Was this all a propaganda to change the public opinion around men's sexual assault? I don't know, but this is the same woman that hate mongers on Men's Day. So to think that she suddenly now cares about men without any ulterior motives of her own is to think that this fedora idiot doesn't get his video ideas from kiddie parties. But even the largest Me Too scam fades in comparison to how this fraud is taking the world by storm through media. One would think that if men were sexually assaulted, then surely we could turn to the news for answers because they would have covered our stories.
I haven't come across any such case.
But what you don't know is that media has secretly formulated encrypted messaging to hide these stories in plain sight. For example, look at these reports. The sexual assault against men is nowhere to be found. But there's a reason why you can't see it. Media doesn't report it as sexual assault, but men and boys are involved. It's reported as forced sex.
Some men who are made to have sex with women against their will.
Affair.
40 साल की चाची को 14 साल के भतीजे से प्यार हो गया.
प्रेमिका जो 40 साल की है, उसका बॉयफ्रेंड 16 साल का है.
Illicit relationship with minor boys.
You actually started having a relationship with him.
Bobitized, genitals stabbed, penis chopped.
Cutting off her husband's penis with a knife. She goes, that'll teach him.
Zimbabwe calls it aggravated indecent assault. UK calls it forced to penetrate. US calls it made to penetrate. India calls it nothing, you idiot. India calls it doesn't exist. The rapist women attract headlines like glamorous woman charged with having sex for 3 years with a boy.
Vera had sex at least 2 times with her 8th grade student.
Why didn't they use this for Jeffrey Epstein? Someone has to ask. Is it intentional to fracture the message in so many fragments that it gets lost in travel even before reaching the public? Is it even discoverable to those who are looking for this information but don't know the goddamn combinations to open up the safe? But I have some good news. After clearing all the facade, I was finally able to find the direct source of the information. The same government survey that the Fedora idiot and Daniel Slosh was quoting from. The real government survey that was behind the facade of the women's organizations. But what I was not expecting is that the actual findings of the survey are far more shocking than what anyone could imagine. So how many men are made to penetrate by women, and how does it compare to women's rape? This is the number of women that reported experiencing rape in 12 months, and this is the number of men that reported experiencing rape in 12 months. Very little, right? But this is the number of men that reported being made to penetrate. Yeah, not exactly a
Very few cases I feel. Percentage कम है.
For every male victim, there are 14 female victims.
In fact, in 2012, this number was this much more higher than women.
But that is more women, no?
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
But one question remains unanswered. Who is the perpetrator in majority of sexual assault against men? This is the percentage of perpetrators that are male, and this is the percentage of perpetrators that are female.
84% of male sexual assault survivors were sexually assaulted by men.
When men are sexually assaulted, it's usually done by other men.
A small-scale study even in India reveals some startling numbers.
It is a problem in India.
222 men were surveyed by Center for Civil Society, and this is the percentage of men that reported being raped. 16 of those 18% were raped by this gender.
It's not possible only.
Shut up, bitch!
So for thousands of years, women have had the status of a protected rapist. But exactly what are you gonna do about it?
Show Dick some respect.